Hey guys, it's Amy at Oh So Savvy Mom. If you guys follow my blog, you know that this year I've chosen to homeschool my kids. I have a kindergartner and a second grader. And when I made the decision to homeschool, it was kind of like being thrown into a pool and not knowing how to swim. There is so much stuff out there. I just felt like I was drowning in information, and I really wasn't sure how to choose a curriculum. I had no idea what the curriculums were that were out there, and so I hit Google and found that there are a lot of different choices out there for parents who want to homeschool. Through my searching, I happened upon a website called Timberdoodle. It's timberdoodle.com, and I looked at their homeschool curriculum and I compared it with some of the others that I was looking at, and I just felt like it really fit our needs for this year. Timberdoodle.com offers pre-made curriculum kits, which is super nice because what they've done is they've kind of taken their favorite workbooks, learning games, teaching tools from everywhere basically, and they've compiled them into curriculums that are basically complete curriculums, everything that your child will need for the entire year, and they have them for each individual grades. One of the things that I wanted to do with homeschooling is to make sure my son had a fair amount of unstructured time during his day. I felt like at school at public school, he was just getting so burnt out with the number of hours that he was having to go to school and to have his time be structured and be planned. And it was really exhausting for him. So my goal with homeschooling was that he would have about 3 hours, a maximum of 4 hours of work a day. So I decided to get the Timberdoodle basic curriculum and then add a few things from their complete curriculum. So right now I'm just going to talk about the basic curriculum that I bought. And again, this is the Timberdoodle second grade curriculum kit. One thing that I love about their curriculum kits is that they come with a curriculum guide. So what they've done is they've taken everything that is in their curriculum kit, and they've given you a description of each workbook or activity, game, whatever, and they tell you how it fits into the curriculum, what it teaches, and then they've divided it up into either, if it's a workbook, the number of workbook pages a week that they need to do in order to complete the workbook by the end of the year, or if it's a game, the number of like some of his games have different game cards that he completes. And so like he'll do 1 game card a week or 2 game cards a week. And then they have a schedule that they've broken up each of the workbooks and the games. And then your child, after they complete each workbook or each game, can check it off. That way you make sure that they are getting the correct number of pages done or activities done each week, so that you can complete the curriculum by the end of the year. So it's really cool. I love, love, love how it's laid out because it didn't involve a lot of planning on my part. So let's take a look at the workbooks that were in the basic curriculum kit for second grade. Now in the basic kit, it only comes with workbooks. If you buy the complete kit, you can get like games and other types of books and stuff. But here, it comes with a handwriting book. This handwriting book is scripture-based. I read some reviews on Amazon, though, that talked about like parents who weren't religious and used this book. Like they didn't really care. It wasn't a big deal. What it is kids practice a couple of words and then practice letters, and then on day 4 of the week they just copy a scripture. But we are religious, so it's a good thing for us. But and then on the 5th day, they have blank pages in the back that I just have my son either write something that he's learned from the scriptures or just something good that he's learned or practiced during the week, and he writes 3 sentences about that. And I really appreciate the brevity of each day's lesson. This is how short it is. Day 3 goes to there. Day 4 is just copying. Day 1 is just doing a few letters and a word or so. I really appreciate the brevity because writing is something that is really challenging for my son. I think because he's a boy, and a lot of boys don't find it necessary and important to write very neatly, so it is challenging for him. This is the daily trait writing book, and it has a lot of great, it teaches step-by-step writing skills for writing stories, constructing good paragraphs, things like that. We started into this book and then found that it was a little too challenging in the fact that we just talked about how challenging writing was for my son. So I decided to take this out of the curriculum for right now, and then we'll put it back in a few weeks because he's really starting to get quicker at his writing, get better at spelling, and so this will become a lot easier and not so much frustration for him. That's one thing about homeschooling is that, you know, I have the ability to, if I need to take out or add into the curriculum according to my son's needs. So let's talk next about the math books that they have. They have 2 different math books. They have one called Mathematical Reasoning and Jump Math. Mathematical Reasoning, I think they're both excellent books. They teach very similar to how my son was learning last year in public school. So we are thinking about putting him back in school when we move next year and live in a different school district. And so I like that this will keep him up with his peers. This will keep him learning similar things. But I have to say that this is laid out in such an easier way to follow than the worksheets that my son was bringing home. My biggest complaint with the Common Core is that it's just so confusing sometimes for the kids and for the parents. They're introduced so many different concepts in such quick succession that they really don't have an opportunity to grasp them. There's almost no memorization of math facts, and so by the end of the year my son was like, he was lost. Like, he was getting great grades, but he was lost. Like, he didn't know what was going on with his math. So he still didn't know any of his math facts. You could ask him what 2 + 4 is, and he was clueless by the end of 1st grade. So these 2 math books have really helped him catch up. And not only that, it's helped him figure out those math facts, figure out strategies so that he can figure those out quickly in his head. And so he's really starting to grasp math, and he's not only grasping addition and subtraction, but they're also introducing multiplication and division in a way that's so intuitive for him. And they haven't even formally started it, but you know, just in the addition and the subtraction pages that they're doing, it's just woven in so seamlessly that as a parent, I really appreciate that, because when we go from addition, subtraction to multiplication, it's not going to be a big jump for him. He's going to be like, oh, we've already been doing this. Who knew? So let's move on to the Language Smarts book. Loving this book. The worksheets are easy but meaningful. So he's learning the skills that he needs to know, but he can complete a worksheet in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, some of the quick ones, and then some of the more difficult ones take him 20 minutes if they involve a lot of writing, like today's lesson. So he wasn't too excited about that one. But again, I really like the way that the lessons are laid out. It's very step by step. I don't feel like there are a lot of leaps that he has to make. Okay, I'm going to show you the geography book. So, one of the things that I really loved about the Timberdoodle lesson, if I didn't already say this before, or the Timberdoodle curriculums, is they are so complete. They do the academic, they do, they teach creativity, they teach thinking skills, they teach history and science, and they teach engineering. So it really teaches a child it really opens up the world of learning for kids. I really love that they included geography, because that's not something that was in my son's curriculum at all, ever, really, unless they read a story about some other place. But this geography book starts with the basics of like teaching them how to read maps and stuff. And then later it'll go on into they'll kind of study a little bit about different states. And so these lessons are super easy. There's like a kind of a teaching page for the parent to go over, and then they can teach each one of these lessons. But really, my son can pretty much do this on his own. So I just really quick go over what we're going to be learning that week, and then he just zooms through his pages. So yeah, they're laid out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we are actually just, he does 2 of these a day. That way, once we get to studying states, we're going to do whole unit studies on the states. So we're going to take a little bit more time once we get to the states. Okay, so this is my favorite book. I mean, I like all the books, but I really love that they have included this book in the basic curriculum kit. This is Building Thinking Skills, and it teaches critical thinking skills, and I love it. It's basically teaching a child how to think creatively. It's basically trying to do everything that Common Core's wanting to do, but not quite making it. So, so this, it's got a bunch of exercises that are fun for kids. They're really easy, but they are teaching kids how to think outside the box, how to think creatively, how to look for patterns, how to complete patterns, and not just patterns like A, B, B, A, B, B, A. It's how to like see patterns in different shapes, and how to combine shapes to make a new shape, and all those fun things that you remember doing in school when you were a kid with like tangrams and stuff like that. This it also teaches how to like describe things really well, and so super excited that they've included this in the curriculum. So these are all the books that we went through. As my son, I showed you this before, but as my son completes each of his assignments for the day, he goes and he makes a little check mark. That way I can make sure that he has completed his daily work. And like I said, we've added a few other things from the curriculum, the Timberdoodle Complete Curriculum Kit, onto his curriculum, but this is the basic curriculum kit. I recommend, if you're going to do the basic, supplementing it with other things, because the basic curriculum doesn't have the history or the science, and it doesn't have any of the games, which really are just awesome. Check out the games.
Hope you enjoyed this look into Timberdoodle's basic curriculum kit for 2nd grade.
Well.
You can check out more on my blog at ohsosavvymom.com. You can also check out timberdoodle.com for more great homeschooling stuff.